Hi there. It turns out that strengthening bones to avoid fractures starts at a very young age. As you know, our bones become much more porous and brittle with age, simply because the cells responsible for building bones become less active and can no longer keep up with the bodily process that destroys and removes old bone cells. Physical activity can shift the balance towards maintaining a healthy amount of bone growth. Now, if you go back to when you were at school, I don't know if you remember having the sort of gym sessions that I had, but it's true, physical activity such as exercise that we get when we were at school is important not just for fighting obesity, but the latest research shows that it might also help to keep our bones strong as well. The researchers from the Skane University Hospital in Malmö, Sweden, did a 6-year study that followed over 800 boys and girls between 7 and 9, and they were asked to partake in a 40-minute physical activity every day during the school day. The scientists obviously recorded the children's skeletal development, and they also took note of any fractures and so forth that the children sustained during this time. They compared the result of those kids with another group, a control group if you like, of similarly aged children that only had 60 minutes of physical activity a week. The researchers discovered that during the period, the children in the group that exercised daily had half as many fractures as those in the control group. Those who were physically active, although they showed a higher bone density than others who didn't exercise, it was nowhere near as good as the children who did the 40-minute-a-day bit. Bone density, as you know, is an indication of bone strength, and the denser our bones are, well, the better they are all round. And the earlier in life that density starts to occur, the stronger the bones will remain as we go through life. So that when you get to the point where the bones naturally start to weaken through old age, the risk of fractures and breaks and so forth is much lessened. Now, the researchers didn't just keep their studies at the level of children. They actually had a look at the other end of the age scale, and they studied over 700 former male athletes who are now in their 60s and 70s, and they compared the bone fracture rate that these guys had with those of other healthy men of the same age but who hadn't been trained to the same level. Now, needless to say, the former athletes showed a much smaller rate of bone loss in density on average than the non-athletes did, which was suggesting that their bones were also better at avoiding fractures. According to the study, as lead author Bjorn Rosengren says, increased activity in the younger ages helps to induce higher bone mass and improves the skeletal size, and in girls as well, without increasing the risk of fractures. He goes on to say that their study highlights yet another reason why children need to get regular exercise daily to improve their health both now and in the future. Certainly the study wasn't, we could say, conclusive, but there is another study that was done on sedentary women as well. Let me just flick over to that now. That was done by the University of California, Davis, and that was done back in the 1990s. Late 1990s, and that also showed that those who were the most active had the higher bone density and the lowest risk of bone thinning disorders such as osteoporosis. So there you have it. If you want to maintain your bone health, start early. But even if you don't start early, the more physically active you are, the higher your bone density, so the less you are likely to suffer from fractures. Hope that helps. Speak to you soon.